talking about the Attitude Era and about how big it got, but you actually, for some people that don't know, you pretty much came up with the Kane character. So tell us a little bit about how that came about.
No, I didn't come up with the Kane character, but they left me alone to kind of help him along. Glenn Jacobs started working for me in Smoky Mountain Wrestling because Dutch Mantell, who I've known forever and respect, and he's a great mind, he called me. He was booking Puerto Rico, and I was booking Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and he said, I've got this kid that's going to be great, but he's burning out down here in Puerto Rico. Because after you go to Puerto Rico for a while, you need to come back to the States. Everybody, sooner or later has to get the fuck out of there. Dutch one time gave notice in Puerto Rico. He'd been there too long. He said, my house is burned down. I got to go back to Nashville. Okay. He got back to Nashville. He sent word down he'd had a heart attack and died. That's how he gave his, And then 6 months later, he goes back and takes a book again, because they couldn't really be picky. But Dutch calls me and says, I got this kid. He's got to come back to the States. His name's Glenn Jacobs. He's huge. He looks great. You can do something with him. And he had been working with a mask on anyway, so the Unabomber was hot at that point. So I named him Unabomber. And he was going to be Eddie Gilbert's partner, where the little guy that can talk and the big guy that, that backs it up. And then Eddie did a TV for us and then took the job as a booker in Puerto Rico and took off and didn't tell me. So, which he took over for Dutch. This is kind of an incestuous relationship. So I got Al Snow to be the little guy that talked and then the big guy. But anyway, Glenn had done a great job. And I had brought Undertaker to Knoxville to face Unabomber the first time they'd wrestled each other at our Super Bowl of Champions in August of '95. Taker goes back up and tells Vince, hey, this guy, I can make some money with him. Of course, they bring him up there and make him an evil fucking dentist. Who remembers Dr. Isaac Yankem? Okay, yeah. And Vince McMahon actually called me and said, oh, wait till you see what we're going to do. I guarantee you Vince had been to the fucking dentist that day. I guarantee, and he's probably mad because he was telling the dentist how to do his work, and the dentist didn't listen to him, so an evil dentist, right? So anyway, and then he became the fake fucking Diesel, and oh, Jesus Christ. But finally, they had the idea, and it might have been Bruce Pritchard, might have been Van, I don't know who it was, but there was an idea, let's give Undertaker an evil brother that we discover he's had after all these years, and let's make it Glenn Jacobs. And okay, now, thank goodness. And I loved Glenn, and I originally had thought, say, Halloween is one of my favorite horror movies. And Michael Myers, to me, was just so cool. And Undertaker was already doing the sit-up, and he was doing some of the mannerisms. And I thought, boy, if we did the original videos for Kane where you're looking through the eye holes of the mask and you hear the breath, and maybe you're looking and you see pictures and clippings of the Undertaker through these eye masks all over the wall, right? Where there's this fucking in a room somewhere, and he's been obsessing about the Undertaker. Because I like true crime, and I was kind of giving him a serial killer thing. That was my original idea, but they went with the red superhero outfit. Okay, I can work with that. But at least they said, Jim, do your thing with Glenn because you've worked with him. So the idea, which I researched, by the way, see, if you steal from one person, it's plagiarism. If you steal from many, it's research. So I researched the idea for the Hell in a Cell, which this all ties together, because we were coming up on Michaels and Undertaker having a blow-off, but Taker couldn't win the belt. Michaels had to retain the belt. Well, how do we beat the Undertaker with this little fucking prick that couldn't whip cream with an outboard motor and not hurt the Undertaker? So we came up with a cage match. But in this case, I researched the idea, well, instead of a regular cage match, let's have the cage go all the way around the ring like the old cage in Memphis. That way, guys can come up from underneath the ring and they're still in the cage. Tommy Rich sat in Memphis one night in a Coliseum under the ring inside a cage for 7 hours with a bucket and a six-pack waiting for his... I said it'd go all the way around, and then you have a top on the cage like the War Games, like Dusty came up with. And then the final research I did was, this is where Kane appears, because right when it looks like that the Undertaker's going to win the title, the referee's wiped out or whatever, and the music hits, and here comes Kane the first time we see him. And he comes down, and just like the Kevin Sullivan had thought of in Knoxville when they introduced Doug Furnace, the world's strongest man, he rips the door off the cage, and he comes in, and there's Undertaker and Kane face to face for the first time. And Undertaker has the look on his face for once like, I'm fucking shocked. And Kane tombstones Undertaker and then leaves, and Michaels wins, and he retains the belt. And now Undertaker doesn't have to keep chasing Shawn Michaels because he's got other fish to fry with Kane. So that gets Michaels out to work with other people, and Kane has made an impact. And then I said, well, since they've got this lighting treatment, the red lights and the cool music, well, then why would Kane just show up and start wrestling? His whole idea is he's been, you know, all these years he's been waiting, fixated on trying to get even with his brother for all these, you know, fucking things he's done to him. So why would he just show up and wrestle? He's not a wrestler. He's not working for the company. He's trying to get Undertaker. So the way we exposed Kane was every time somebody'd be in a match, didn't matter who, the red lights would hit and the music would play and the fucking pyro would go off and Kane would come down and just choke slam every fucking body. Referee, both guys, and you remember this, right? And he was saying basically Undertaker didn't want to fight his brother, and Kane was saying, let the blood be on your hands. I'm going to do this until you agree to fight me. And finally, my favorite part was after we'd established that when the red lights go on and the music plays, Kane's going to come down and he's going to lay waste to some people, right? We had, and this is organic comedy in wrestling without going too far with it. We had the 6-man Mexican mini match with Sonny as referee, right? And all of a sudden, the red lights and the music, and here comes Kane, and the minis start running around, and Sonny's leapfrogging them. And the people shit their pants. And he didn't touch anybody. They got out of the way, but that's funny by happenstance, because people are like, oh, shit, look at this. And so then finally, you know, Russo wanted, the week after he fucking Kane tombstone Undertaker, this was October of 97, they weren't going to have their match until WrestleMania 98. Fucking Russo next week on Raw wanted fucking Kane to chokeslam Undertaker through the announcer's desk. I said, now wait a minute. He's done this one thing, Undertaker can come out and say, I don't want to fight my brother, but if he comes out and beats Undertaker up every week like a limp dick pussy, then pretty soon the fans are going to go, fuck your brother, fight him. You know, and you got 6 months. Vince McMahon says we can't have this match for 6 months, so just slow down, cowboy, and keep your fucking panties out of your ass. But anyway, that was Kane.